As you know, the people who tried to overthrow the U.S. government are on trial this week. These scummy, cowardly pricks called the Oath Keepers. And it's turning out in this trial that these traitors to the United States, and by the way, I have to tell you again, every goddamn one of them is a Christian. Huh? I get emails from people say, why do you keep emphasizing that? Is that the important part? Yes, it is the important part. Because the people who profess to be Christians, you know this, you've listened to me rant on this so many times. The people who profess to be Christians are telling the person they designated their Messiah, this rabbi from 2,000 years ago, they're saying to their Messiah, go fuck yourself, Jesus. Go fuck yourself. We don't believe anything you said. Sermon on the Mount, stick it up your ass. We are now Christians. We are violent. We are liars. We cheat. We steal. We foment bloodshed. We cause people to suffer and die. Fuck you, Jesus. That's what they're saying. Now, he's their Messiah. It's their twisted religion. If they want to say fuck you to their own avatar of this supreme sky being, I guess that's their business, isn't it? But my God, so to speak, to take religion and twist it into this psychotic mess of madness. Oh, see, there I go again, right? The Oath Keepers, all Christians, had a plan for armed rebellion. It's all coming out in this trial, and it's going to get worse. As the Times reports it, 2 days after the election back in 2020, when Donald Trump had his ass kicked by Joe Biden, this punk bastard Popeye Stewart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers, sent an urgent, encrypted message to high-ranking members of his group, telling them to resist allowing Joe Biden to enter the White House. This punk bastard Rhodes wrote on his encrypted message, quote, "We aren't getting through this without a civil war," end quote. You rotten fucker, you. Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I mean, give these people, Stuart Rhodes and his scum, all the protection guaranteed by the Constitution they would burn if they ever got in power. And then, if he's convicted, hang the motherfucker. I mean, seriously. Seriously, we are at war with a domestic terrorist group, 2 or 3 of them in this country. And they're not going to stop. The only way to stop these people is to eliminate them. And that doesn't mean long prison terms. It means if they are found guilty of what they are charged, hang them. Hang these bastards. All of them. Ooh. Holy Toledo. Am I going off that? Yeah, I guess I am. Anyway, federal prosecutors yesterday, it was the opening statements yesterday of the prosecution and the defense. I don't know if the defense got to it, but the prosecution said that this bastard Rhodes and the 4 filthy pig bastard members of, his lieutenants, his brown shirts, they said that the message, we aren't getting through this without a civil war, was an early step in this effort to stop the transfer of presidential power and to use these far-right, filthy Nazi fucking terrorists to keep the orange vomit in office. This was the plan. This was not, 15 or 20 of these goofy-looking fuckers walking up the steps of the Capitol in that massive crowd of crazy people in their little stack formation. No. That was the theatrics. These son of a bitches had one thing in mind: bloodshed. American bloodshed by Americans. I mean, this is equivalent to the kind of mindset that operated 150 years ago, whatever it was, the Civil War, 180 years ago. Hell, I don't know. And these fuckers need to be eliminated. They need to be made gone, one way or the other. If people are against hanging them, if they're found guilty, okay, deport these son of a bitches and send them to the taiga in Siberia. Send them to Russia. Putin would love them. They are Putin operatives. Anyway, after the election, after it became apparent that the orange vomit was no longer going to be president over the next 2 months, this pig fucker Rhodes riled up and recruited dozens of Oath Keepers to join his plot. This is according to prosecutors. And eventually, he deployed them, like in real military, in Washington, D.C. and across the river in Virginia. And the idea was to disrupt a key moment of the constitutionally guaranteed democratic process in this country. This is why when these fuckers use the term they're oath keepers, I don't know. If I had them in my sights, I know exactly what I would do. These are not oath keepers. These are oath destroyers. These are scum, filth, pig, the lowest of the low. Just like the brown shirts in Nazi Germany. Exactly the same thing. But they were to disrupt Biden's, the certification of Biden's victory. That's what the whole idea was. A prosecutor in this case, a guy named Jeffrey Nessler, said in federal district court in Washington yesterday, quote, "Ever since our government transferred power from George Washington to John Adams in the year 1797, we've had a core custom of routine and peaceful transfer of power. These defendants tried to change that history. They concocted a plan for an armed rebellion to shatter a bedrock of democracy." End quote. Now, see, again, if the case against these vermin is proved, if the case whatever, if it's proved, then I say no mercy for these people, because what they had in mind would have resulted in the deaths of hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of Americans. Are you kidding me? These scum let loose again? Now, Rhodes's lawyer, the Stewart pigfucker Rhodes has a lawyer named Philip Linder. And in his opening statement, Mr. Linder said that Stewart Rhodes and his subordinates had never planned an attack against the government on January 6th. What gives you that idea? Instead, according to this lawyer, the Oath Keepers were waiting with abated breath for Mr. Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act, a move, the group claimed, that would have given the Oath Keepers standing as a militia to employ force of arms in support of Mr. Trump. I'm saying almost, wish that would have happened, because there were enough people in the leadership of the U.S. military in this country that would have said to Trump, "Fuck you, you rabid dog," and they would have surrounded these Oath Keeper swine, and in about 15 seconds there would be nothing but Oath Keeper corpses. Calling the Oath Keepers, quote, "a peacekeeping force," end quote. This phony fucking lawyer, Linder, who wants to defend people, and everyone's entitled to a defense under our Constitution, right? Even traitorous scum. But Mr. Linder said they were a peacekeeping force. And Mr. Linder argued that the group didn't go to Washington to storm the Capitol. Oh, heaven, whatever gave you that idea? But the only reason these scum went to D.C. was to provide security at political rallies for dignitaries like the Nazi vermin Roger Stone. Linder told the jury, quote, even though it may look inflammatory, they did nothing illegal. They did nothing illegal. Just exercising their constitutional rights of peaceful assembly, petitioning Congress for redress of grievances. Right? Wrong. Now, this scumbastard Rhodes and his 4 rats with him, they're the first defendants in this investigation of the attack on the Capitol to face trial on charges of seditious conspiracy. And like I mentioned yesterday, seditious conspiracy, the very term, traces back to the efforts by the United States to protect the federal government against these white filth here in the South during the Civil War. Seditious conspiracy. Why not just call it treason? I mean, what the fuck? I realize there's a certain trigger that brings out the word treason. It has to be the United States is at war. Well, what the hell are we in now? Donald Trump is inciting, causing, fomenting, and continuing this attitude, this mood in this country that says tear it down and replace it with Christian fascism. What the fuck do you call that if it's not a war? Debate? Jesus. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.